At midnight, the subway platform is always eerily empty, with only the occasional gust of wind sending shivers down your spine. Have you ever taken the last train of the night? When the world is silent, are you really the only one in that rattling carriage? At 12:45 a.m., the last train of the New York City subway slowly departs from a station in Lower Manhattan, heading toward its final stop. It's an ordinary night, with cold winds sweeping through the underground tunnels. The platform is deserted, except for a handful of weary passengers inside the train. Jack Harrison, a night shift worker, leans against the window, faint jazz music playing through his headphones. He occasionally glances at the passengers across the aisle, an elderly man in a gray coat, a couple whispering to each other, and a young woman sitting alone in the corner. However, as the train enters the next tunnel, the lights flicker for less than 2 seconds. Suddenly, Jack notices the young woman across the aisle has vanished. He blinks and looks toward the other end of the carriage, but the seat is empty, no trace of her, not even her bag or any belongings. The train hasn't stopped, and the doors never opened. Where did she go? Jack's heart races as he glances at the other passengers. The couple remains engrossed in their conversation, seemingly unaware of anything unusual, while the elderly man continues staring out the window, his face expressionless. A strange sense of dread washes over Jack. The carriage is unnaturally quiet, and the air feels colder. At 12:55 a.m., the train speeds into a longer tunnel. The intercom crackles to life, and after a burst of static, a distorted female voice whispers, "Attention all passengers, approaching final destination." The voice is low and hoarse, unlike the usual announcements. Jack frowns, looking up at the intercom speaker. For the next few seconds, the broadcast is replaced by an eerie murmuring, fragmented, unintelligible whispers. Then, the lights in the carriage begin to flicker wildly, casting twisted shadows on the walls. A damp, musty smell fills the air. Jack's throat tightens, and he grips his backpack tightly. He glances at the elderly man, only to find him staring directly at Jack, a faint smile creeping across his lips. The temperature in the carriage drops further, and Jack can see his breath forming white mist. The intercom crackles again, and this time, the voice is clear, whispering directly into his ear, "You're next." At 1:07 a.m., the train arrives at its final stop. But when the doors open, Jack finds himself facing a pitch-black platform, devoid of lights or signage. The air outside is damp and icy, as if the station has been abandoned for years. He hesitates, looking back at the other passengers, but the couple is gone. Only the elderly man remains, now slowly rising from his seat and walking toward the door. Alarm bells ring in Jack's mind. Something's wrong. He turns to press the emergency brake, but when he looks back, the elderly man is standing right behind him, whispering, "This is your stop." Jack's pupils dilate in terror. He tries to step back, but his feet feel rooted to the ground. Suddenly, the train's lights go out, plunging everything into darkness. The next morning, the NYPD receives a report from the subway authorities. The staff on duty discovered that the last train of the night arrived at its final stop completely empty. Surveillance footage from the train shows no passengers, only rows of empty seats. However, cleaning staff find something strange under the last row of seats, an old, cracked phone, seemingly from years ago. Even more unsettling, the phone's contact list contains only one missed call, time-stamped at 1:07 a.m. The caller, unknown. To this day, the case remains unsolved, and the chilling legend of the last subway train continues to haunt the nights of New York City. New York. H apartment. 2:37 a.m. The security camera in the building's elevator lobby captures a chilling image. The elevator doors slide open, and a woman steps inside. Head down, exhausted, she stares at her phone and presses the button for the 12th floor. A few seconds later, the doors close. The elevator begins to ascend as usual. But she never walks out. Security footage is reviewed over and over. She never exits on any floor. The doors open multiple times, yet from every angle, she is nowhere to be seen. This becomes one of H apartment's most disturbing mysteries. Where did she go? Lucy Bell, 32, an advertising planner. Late nights at the office are routine. A logical thinker, even somewhat indifferent, she never believed in ghosts or urban legends. That night, she drags herself into the elevator, her earbuds playing a muffled podcast she's barely listening to. The glow of her phone reflects off her face as her fingers mindlessly scroll. She presses 12. Ding. The doors slide shut. The soft hum of machinery fills the confined space. Second floor. 3RD. 4TH. Lucy leans against the wall, exhaling deeply. Eyes closed, all she wants is a hot shower and sleep. Then, the elevator stops. 7th floor. Ding. The doors slide open. Lucy frowns. She never pressed 7. She lifts her head. The hallway outside is empty. Dimly lit, silent. A faint glow from a window at the far end barely illuminates the corridor. The air feels heavy, thick with something she can't quite explain. An uneasy chill creeps up her spine. After a few seconds, the doors close on their own. The elevator resumes its ascent. 8th. 9th. Then, the lights flicker. Lucy grips her phone tighter. In the mirrored wall beside her, something feels off. She forces herself to ignore it, eyes fixed on the display screen. 11th. 12th. Then, 13th? Her heart stops. H apartment doesn't have a 13th floor. A cold dread washes over her. She glances at the button panel. 12 is still lit. But so is 13. Ding. The doors slide open. But outside isn't her apartment hallway. Instead, a decayed, abandoned corridor. The walls are peeling. Old wires dangle from the ceiling. The air is thick with the scent of damp, rotting wood. And on the dusty floor, a trail of footprints, leading from the elevator to a half-open door at the end of the corridor. Lucy's breath catches in her throat. She slams the closed door button. Nothing happens. The doors refuse to close. Then, a sound. Soft, faint footsteps. Tap, tap, tap. Coming from the end of the hallway. The half-open door creaks wider. Beyond it, only darkness. Lucy's pulse pounds in her ears. Her earbuds crackle. The podcast cuts out. And in its place, a woman's ragged breathing. Lucy rips out her earbuds. But the sound doesn't stop. It wasn't coming from her earbuds. It was coming from behind her. Slowly, she turns to face the elevator mirror. Her reflection stares back. Pale, wide-eyed, hands clenched at her sides. But then, her reflection smiles. A slow, unnatural curl of the lips. And then, it lunges. Bang! Lucy screams, stumbling backward, slamming into the elevator wall. The mirror is normal again. Only her own, terrified reflection remains. She gasps for breath, chest rising and falling. Then, the elevator shudders violently. A metallic screech. And then, it drops. Lucy is thrown against the floor as the elevator plummets. Buttons flash wildly. The walls twist and distort. The space warps around her, as if the elevator is no longer an elevator, but a void. A bottomless, endless void. Something cold brushes her neck. A whisper drifts into her ear. You're not going back. 3:14 a.m. The security camera in the H apartment lobby captures footage of the elevator arriving. The doors slide open. Inside, no one. No Lucy. No passengers. No sign that anyone was ever there. But, in the final second of the recording, something flickers in the reflection of the elevator's metal wall. A woman, dressed in an old-fashioned dress, standing in the corner, watching, unmoving. And just before the screen cuts to black, she smiles.